It's Rob and Brent and my Reggie dude, and don't forget, it also features Dawson too. We gonna give you all the dope reviews, but first we'll hit on all the movie news. Cha-ching, cha-ching, box office due. In between the news and the reviews, there's not a lot that we don't do, so turn the volume up, cause we coming through. Put your headphones on and tie your shoes. Jackman and Grant, we got all the views. We're like Brando Wynn, Godfather 2. We're gonna make a podcast you can't refuse. This is the Cinema Chat Podcast, and we know a lot about movies. Welcome back to the show, everyone. It's another episode of Cinema Chat Podcast with Rob and Brent and Reggie, featuring Dawson. I'm Brent.
I'm Reggie.
And I'm featuring Dawson.
No Rob this week. Rob doesn't feel very good, so he's taking the week off. He's not going to be reviewing this. He's taking a week off, and we're reviewing a horror movie, guys. I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, I just sent him the video, or he acquired the movie like 2 days ago. So.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm pretty sure I don't.
He rented it.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Well, he's got that 48-hour rental. I guess it doesn't start until you actually start the movie, though. That's how that works, days. Right? 30 days, 48 hours from the time you start it. So he's still good. He can potentially watch it in the future. But yeah, we're going to be reviewing Freaky, which is a Vince Vaughn, Catherine Newton jam. But before we get there, guys, I have a question for you. And I ask this question every week. And sometimes your answers are very similar to the previous week. So we'll see. What did we watch this week? Let us give you a peek. We'll get to the news real soon. First, listen to this little tune. Give us the attention we seek while we tell you what we watched this week. Tell them, Rob. What did you see? Tell them. They want to know. Who'd I yell at first last week?
Who knows?
Reggie, what'd you watch this week?
I only watched one thing.
One thing?
Yeah. I've been catching up on shows that I just didn't get around to finishing. Like I started Mr. Robot, watching the last season. And then I started Vikings. Because part 2 of the last season just came out on Amazon. I watched the first episode, and then the way that ended, I was like, man, this should have been the way the series ended. And then I went to the next episode, and I was like, I don't care about any of these people. So I'm going to forget that this episode exists, and that last episode is going to be the series finale for me. So there are like 4 or 5 episodes that I'm just not going to watch. But I watched Skyline 3. And
the fuck is that?
So what was that?
The fuck is that?
Skyline. It's a really bad movie that came out. Faison, what's his name? Something Faison.
Donald Faison?
Yeah.
There's 3 of those?
Yeah, they made 3.
And you watched the third one?
Yeah. Frank Grillo, who played Crossbones, he's in the second one, along with is it Tony Jaa? I think Tony Jaa is in the second one. Then I watched the third one because I was like, hell yeah, I'm watching Skyline 3. And I'm not going to lie, I feel like with a better budget, maybe better writers, it could actually have been a good movie. The third one was definitely better than the first one, because the first one was mad garbage. It was horror bad. But I like bad movies, but that one was not even trying to be good, I don't think. But the third one was actually a fun watch.
All right, Dawson, what about you?
I didn't watch any movies. I actually didn't watch a lot of TV either. I'm almost done with Cobra Kai. That's actually my goal for what do we do after we finish the show tonight is finish that.
Oh, I love Cobra Kai.
I have 1 episode left.
So. Oh, it's so good. I love that show.
Yeah. I'll be watching WandaVision. When this episode comes out, I'll watch the first episode of WandaVision. So I'll watch that tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I'll plan on watching that. Cobra Kai is, Reggie, it's the perfect nostalgia for people that, I like nostalgia. Right. It's a mixture of like made for 40-year-old men that watched The Karate Kid growing up, but also like has really terrible teenage melodrama mixed in with it, which it's not that big of a secret that I kind of like that stuff for some reason. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I'm not even going to try to explain it, but it's got a little CW action thrown in with it.
Right, I was about to say, you don't watch CW shows.
CW stands for can't watch, but I can watch this.
I would think the 100 would be right up your alley.
So, but I loved Cobra Kai. Season 3, I just finished that up this week, just a couple days ago, and it was fantastic. I think all 3 seasons are like over 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. Seems to be a pretty big hit. They got season 4 in the works. Season 3 kind of ended on a cliffhanger a little bit. Dawson, you're almost there. And then I started on Netflix, a Netflix original series called Lupin.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I started that. I'm on the second episode.
I watched the first and second episode today. It's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I like that at least so far in the first 2 episodes, it's like every episode has like a little mini heist in it.
Right.
So, I mean, it's kind of cool. I like it. It's French dubbed in English, but sometimes it's really noticeable, but there's other times where they did a pretty good job with the dub. I recommend it so far. Like I said, I'm only 2 episodes in, so that's been my week. Cobra Kai.
And it's only like 6 episodes too.
Yeah, I think it's like 5 or 6. It's short.
Yeah. The only complaint I have for Lupin is that I don't like all the flashbacks. Like, they kind of got obnoxious where I felt like I was getting... The reason I don't like flashbacks in television, I feel like it's a cheap way to tell half a story. Because you got half your story is your flashbacks and half your story is what's actually happening. I just feel like it's... and maybe that's just because of Lost. Just got bit by Lost.
But see, I feel like the flashbacks really accentuate the story that they're telling, because the flashbacks do serve a purpose in giving you the background. I mean, I think they are valid flashbacks. It's not just a flashback for flashback's sake, because whenever you're telling a story that is basically, for all intents and purposes, a continuation of a story that happened 20 years prior, you need a lot of that. Well, you maybe don't need it, but you do kind of want the context of what's going on in the story to kind of figure out how they got where they are. So I'm digging it so far. Yeah, I mean, it could still let me down, but it's been pretty good through 2 episodes. So I would say give it a shot if you like heist shit. So it's pretty good. The acting's good.
I was going to say, I forgot. I watched a Netflix documentary this week.
Crack. Yes.
Called Crack. Yeah, and it's all about the history of crack in America.
The cocaine.
It's interesting, and it goes. I mean, they don't back down. It's like they go into why America why we planted this here, and it turns. It's good. It's only like an hour and 20 minutes long or so, but yeah, check it out. Crack.
Yeah, I that popped up on my Netflix, and I almost started watching it instead of Lupin, but. I'll probably get around to it based off your recommendation.
Yeah, because it's not just a history on the drug. It hardly even talks about the drug itself. It's just like how corrupt the government was and what they did, and it's a history lesson for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We apparently we need more of these things, and like I'm here for more things that my public education didn't give me.
Social dilemma, crack. Dawson is getting education
Watchmen.
through documentary, basically.
Watchmen, Lovecraft Country. Trial of the Chicago 7. I mean, what else?
It's true. Adult education. We're learning. continuing education as adults. All right, are we ready for the movie news?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cindy, the news is on.
Insightful.
Good news.
If the headline is big enough, it makes the news big enough.
Timely.
The news goes on for 24 hours a day.
Well prepared.
You like Huey Lewis on the news?
Well, I got some bad news for you.
Do you want the Aladdin news or the Aladdin news?
The Aladdin news?
This is movie news.
Movie news is here. A little bit of a change up. We don't have a lot of delays. We'll just get that one out of the way. Morbius, the Jared Leto superhero movie, is delayed till October. So, oh well. Not missing too much, I guess. It'll be closer to Spider-Man. So I don't know if that'll impact Spider-Man 3 at all. I doubt it. I don't know why you'd shift Spider-Man for this, but we'll see. That's something to keep an eye out. We have Netflix went through their 2021 answer to everything that's come out so far. Sort of. They kind of did a teaser. They gave us a heads up that they're going to do 70 movies in 2021. So they're essentially going to give us a new movie or two every week. And there's some really, really big movies coming with big name actors. We're no longer in Redbox plus an actor territory, I don't think. Especially with that Leonardo movie that we got.
Jesus.
Is everyone okay with there?
Did a dog just run through a wall?
I have no clue what the fuck that
was. On that Netflix thing, I was very impressed whenever I saw the number, 71 new Netflix movies in 2020, and then I saw that they did 100 in 2021. And I saw they did 100 in 2020. So hopefully it's more of the bigger ones, a la 600 Gram Reggie and Triple Frontier. What other? The Irishman.
Irishman, Five Bloods.
Yeah, hopefully it's more high quality. But they had the promo that they put out had a lot of really big names in it, and a lot of movies that I am fairly interested in. I know that I think Zum put it into our Patreon DM thread and asked, who's winning the streaming wars in 2021. And we kind of talked about that on our Patreon show, patreon.com/cinemachatpodcast, Cutting Room Floor. We talked about what streaming has coming up over the next year, maybe in the next couple of years to 5 years. And there's one thing that I'm sure of. And the one thing that I'm sure of is that there's never been a better time to be subscribing to streaming services than right now.
Exactly, yeah.
Because they are in a war with each other for subscribers, and we are the ones that win in that scenario. At least in the short term. I don't know what that means in the long term, but for 2021, it seems like we got a lot of content coming our way. We're filling up our schedule for 2021 pretty quickly. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I do hope these movies from Netflix are good. I'm excited from a lot of them. They look amazing. But I still think that, quality remains to be seen. Just my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's one I put in that DM thread too, just today. It's an Anthony Mackie movie. It's coming out tomorrow that I haven't heard nothing else. I just put it in there. What's it called?
Well, and see, that's the thing about our schedule. Is I'm trying to mine shit. I'm trying to find these movies, and I feel like every week there's a new movie coming out that I didn't even know was coming out. So it's I'm trying to get ahead of this shit, and I feel like there's going to be points in time where something just releases, and we're like, oh shit, I didn't even know that was a thing, or I didn't realize it was coming so soon. So I feel like shit's going to sneak up on us, but there's a lot of stuff. I'm looking at the schedule right now, and all the way up until April, we only have one open spot. And it's all movies coming out in 2021.
Right.
So
yeah, I just saw this trailer today. I've never heard anything about this movie. It's called Outside the Wire. It comes out tomorrow, and it looks like an action sci-fi.
Yeah, that does look awesome.
It looks like a cool
trailer. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a cool movie. I'm like, where did this come from? And it's tomorrow.
We might be reviewing more. I don't
understand about Netflix. Like, why aren't they advertising this stuff? Like, there's a part of me that does like when I just go to Netflix and I see something, I'm like, oh, this looks interesting, but at the same time, the algorithm, we've talked about it. There's so many things I've missed because of the algorithm. I'll find something, I'm like, this has been on here for like 3 months.
Yeah,
but exactly what I want to watch.
Yeah, but that's why they created that top 10 bullshit. Like, that's the way for them to advertise in app, like their big shit that they have going. I feel like Netflix, as opposed to the other ones, I feel like Netflix is like, okay, we have a massive amount of subscribers. I feel like they're not, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're trying to grow their subscriber base, but I think their focus might be more on retaining what they have in terms of subscribers, as opposed to the other services they're trying to build their subscriber base.
Right.
I feel like Netflix is like, okay, we've got them. Let's just focus, like funnel everything into keeping them. And I'm sure, they want to build and they want more subscribers, but I feel like that's not necessarily as big of a focus for them as it is these other services that are just sort of getting their feet under them, I guess. But that top 10, I mean, I talk shit about it because I'm like, I feel like they're just telling me what they want me to see with it. Like, I'm like, this can't possibly be top 10. What's this doing in the top 10? Shit like that. But it's where I find a lot of the stuff I watch. And I don't know. I mean, I guess that is them sort of pushing my buttons. We're talking about the social dilemma, right? Like they're right. Turning levers. They're like, let's see what we can get them to watch. But I mean, I can't complain about what I'm getting from Netflix. So I guess they're doing something right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I found Lupin. So.
I see that it's like number 3. I'm like, oh, okay. I haven't seen this show, and it's number 3.
See?
I'm sorry.
Okay. You're fine.
No, Pinocchio. I guess they're getting Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Well, look at that. Netflix is?
Yeah. Huh. It's one of their movies.
Is that the one with Tom Hanks?
No. Christoph Waltz is in it. Tilda Swinton, Finn Wolfhard, Ewan McGregor.
How many Pinocchio movies are there?
That's the problem. Like, there are a shit ton of.
Is this the Jungle Book scenario all over again?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like they don't like. How does this happen? It over and over again where we release the same movies.
Is it like, did it hit Creative Commons or something or not? That's not the right phrase, is it?
Public domain.
Public domain, yeah.
It's been in the public domain for a while. I don't know why all of a sudden everybody decides that they need to make a live action Pinocchio again.
It is weird how that happens because, I mean, they're in production for development for forever. Right. So it's strange how shit like that happens, and it just all sort of hits
It's also kind of strange that studios don't say, well, X.
They're already doing it. Maybe we shouldn't
do that again. Like, I mean, I guess, like, I understand, like, hey, I have this script and we're gonna start this movie, White House Down. Oh, Olympus Has Fallen is coming out the same year. Well, whatever. I understand that, but when it's like, let's everybody put out Jungle Book and Cinderella and Pinocchio all at the same time, like, just. You think somebody would be like, well, Pinocchio's already being done by 2 other studios. We don't need to do this.
Well, thank goodness that wasn't the attitude that Pierce Brosnan had whenever he found out Volcano was a thing, because we never would have gotten Dante's Peak, which is the superior film of the 2, by the way.
Except Volcano is a superior film.
Tomato, Reggie.
Scientifically, I think Dante's Peak is more accurate.
I love both of them.
Yeah.
But Dante's Peak is awesome. All right, what else do we have here?
So the next thing we have here, I thought this was interesting. It's a A24 movie, which we seem to like, right?
Yeah. Typically.
Darren Aronofsky, which seems to make a lot of good movies, right? Mm-hmm. And Brendan Fraser, who's been kind of making somewhat of a comeback. I guess he's with that DC show he's been on, and I think he's been.
Yes, he is so good in that show too.
I think he's starting to show up on a couple other things. I liked him. He just disappeared for a while. I guess I don't really know what happened. I don't really care what happened. But they're adapting a play called The Whale into a movie, and it follows a 600-pound man, and like what he deals with. I'm trying to pull I'm tap dancing here while I pull up the. Adapting my screenplay has been real labor love for me. The story, trying to find the synopsis of the story.
There's a show on TV. It's like My 600-Pound Life or something like that.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's and Brendan Fraser is going to play a 600-pound man.
Yeah, so here it is. The story is set on the outskirts of Mormon County, Idaho, and centers on a 600-pound recluse as he hides away in his apartment, eating himself to death. Desperate to reconnect with his long estranged daughter, he reaches out to her, only to find viciously sharp-tongued and a wildly unhappy teen. So we're gonna get
unhappy teen.
Yeah, I mean, probably your dad picked food over her or something. I don't know.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, I can't say I'm really a Brendan Fraser fan. I mean, come on. What has he had? What has he done that I would be like, oh, Brendan Fraser's the shit? As opposed to Val Kilmer, who at least at one point was the shit. The Mummy? Yeah, I mean those things, they're fine. It's Blast not really. Don't go in the adult bookstore.
Yeah, Blast from the Past. Slaps. I don't care.
Okay,
yeah.
Let me ask you something. Whenever I say Brendan Fraser, what do you think of?
Just The Mummy, really. And then George in the Jungle, somebody in the Jungle.
George of the Jungle, right?
Yeah, that one.
I think of Encino Man.
Yeah, Encino Man's
the caveman, wheezing the juice,
I personally think...
Don't shake your head at me.
I can't stand Pauly
the
Shore.
Weasel.
Oh my god!
Jesus.
Make up your melon.
I'm glad we haven't done
two.
a Pauly Shore movie.
Oh, you just wait. There's a new one on Netflix.
Is there really?
Yeah, it's called House Guest or something like that.
Yeah.
Brand new. We could do it for cutting room floor.
No.
I'll tell you what. You don't try to make me watch a Studio Ghibli movie, and I won't make you watch a Pauly Shore movie.
Okay, maybe.
Mutual destruction.
Mutually assured destruction?
Yeah. Because if I have to watch a Ghibli movie, you're watching The Son-in-Law the next week. So
it might be worth it. It might be worth it.
It wouldn't be worth it because I would bitch the whole time. But I like A24. I like Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah, so who knows? I mean, I just pulled up because it's A24.
I tell you what, so anyway. I don't know that I've ever seen a movie about a 600-pound person.
That's right. Maybe we will soon. Next section is kind of a Marvel news, so buckle up for that. First thing we have is the big news here. We have is Deadpool 3 is going to be rated R, and it's going to be the MCU, which is pretty cool. I mean, we talked about it for a while. Is it going to be its own thing? Is it going to be integrated? Are they going to tone him down? And now we've got an answer. He's going to be an R-rated MCU character.
So, if they're putting him in the MCU, that means that they probably want to put him in other movies, correct? Like if they weren't going to put him into other movies, they wouldn't include it in the MCU. So if they want to put that character into other movies, is it going to be weird whenever he shows up in the fucking whatever the next Guardians of the Galaxy thing, not Guardians of the Galaxy, but whatever the next team is it going to be weird whenever he shows up in that and he's like neutered and not cursing and all that stuff?
They'll find a way around it.
Yeah. There's a way, I think there's a way to creatively cover up the curses in a way where he actually talks, fourth wall breaks and it's like, okay, are they just gonna every time I say beep, and then they beep it or like there's a noise or something that happens?
Yeah, that's what they did whenever they did the PG-13 version, and it worked pretty well.
Yeah.
Plus, they get one fuck in a PG-13, and he could, or a shit,
Yeah, but I don't know that they're gonna use a fuck in a Marvel movie.
It would be funny if it was somebody else that got the fuck though,
and he loses his shit because they take it.
Right.
He turns the camera. He's like, "We only get one of those, and I didn't get it."
See, that's what I'm saying. That would be the humor that would work, and I think they could make it work, and they're going to make it work.
Yeah. What I wonder though is what this means for mutants, because it seemed like mutants were going to be were being put on the back burner, and they said some things to the effect that they didn't want to have mutants in the MCU anytime soon. But if Deadpool's in it, then we're going to see other mutants. And what does that mean for the X-Men, considering he likes to make a bunch of X-Men jokes?
Well, Kevin Feige said that this week that they know when they're introducing the X-Men, so they have a plan. And, I know that they plan out several years ahead, but I would assume if that's the case, then they're going to have, it's going to be in the course of the next 4 years, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're giving them way too much credit. You think you're going to sit on the X-Men for 4 years? You know how much money they can make off the X-Men? Selling all new apparel, all new t-shirts, all new video games, all that shit. You think Disney's going to sit back and wait? I don't care what their grand plan is. I bet we get mutants by the end of WandaVision.
The end of WandaVision?
Yep, we're going to get a tease, because I didn't know this, but I looked into it because I'm excited for WandaVision. There's a story that basically makes Scarlet Witch the villain, and she makes everyone forget about mutants. And then
House of M.
House of M. So there's a whole potential that we get them like that. And it's like, hey, you guys, all these X-Men, you forgot about them. Sorry, here they are. And then they just come, here they are. And not necessarily like that. Or they could be here or in the Doctor Strange movie when we get multiverse. But it's happening sooner than later. Well, there's no way they're going to.
Yeah, but I feel like if I hear what you're saying, and I'm not going to put that out of the realm of possibility. And I think, saying that it's a few years down the line might be stretching a bit too far. Could be any time between now and then. But I feel like if it was going to be that soon, it's almost impossible to keep leaks out of that many characters. If you're just going to start...
Well, here's the thing. I think if it was going to be... I'm kind of leaning towards Brent on this one. That is probably further down the line, because they've got their slate of movies planned out to 2024, 2025 in some cases, so I'm not saying that they couldn't slot in a X-Men movie or Fantastic Four. We know that they're coming, but it's already crowded for the MCU. We've got Blade, we've got Spider-Man 3. We know Black Panther 2 is going to be in there sometime soon. Captain Marvel, the Eternals. So it's
somebody's living life a quarter mile at a time.
Yeah.
Fucking Vin Diesel outside your bedroom window.
It's just one guy, and his car doesn't even... It's not even a good... You know what? Whatever.
You know what?
Car, and I'm really here for it. I'm not here for it. No, but so they've already got a pretty full slate. So I don't know where the X-Men would fit in that. And then on top of that, when is the next Avengers movie? Because I don't think we've heard about whatever the next crossover is, have we?
Well, that's actually a really good. It's a really good transition. And that's everyone's talking about Marvel Secret Invasion. And that's a huge Infinity Stone level event, and that's actually going to be a Disney Plus series. Kevin Feige this week he addressed that. He's like, here's why we went with a series instead of making this a multi-movie. It's going to be a 6-part series probably 45 minutes to an hour. So they get to flesh it out. They get to do things that they've never done before, where they get to tell that story kind of contained and move on. But yeah, so I mean that's we're gonna get that a Disney Plus series. So we might get piece of that intertwined into the end of these next movies. Yeah, so I mean, leading up to a Disney Plus series, and that's their next big event, I think, is a secret invasion.
Is that kind of is that sort of their strategy of like, is that where they're gonna have the shows, the Disney Plus series kind of linked together, kind of like how Netflix did with the what was it called, the Defenders?
Yeah,
Defenders. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is that sort of what they're looking at there?
No, because they're gonna. This is the Marvel shows we're getting on Disney Plus are gonna interact with the movies, right? Like we get WandaVision, which goes on from there. With Falcon and Winter Soldier, we're gonna get somebody's gonna be the new, Captain America at the end of that series, which I'm sure will be the next Captain America in the next movie. Mm-hmm. Right, and then maybe
unless Chris Evans comes back,
which as I was scrolling Twitter before, he just responded back like news to me on Twitter, so I don't know if that's just rumors or if he's just playing coy.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Like you wouldn't be able to stop them from announcing like so and so is going to be Wolverine or whatever the fuck, At least a couple. There's so many characters because I feel like they're gonna, whenever they introduce the X-Men, whenever they introduce mutants, I feel like they're gonna want to introduce a bunch of them together.
But I mean, like
here they are, like.
We get whenever it happens, and if it's a post credit, all of a sudden we get like you hear a scraping on the wall, or you hear a scrape. That happened at the end of Endgame, and people thought it was Wolverine scraping his claws against the wall, but it was just like Tony building his armor. So people are looking for these little things. I could see it at the end of like maybe teasing it like we did building up to the first Avengers movie. Maybe not like soon, but eventually, if it's really going to be this play out like you guys are talking, where we get a tease of a mutant at the end, and then it's like somebody's putting together a squad, and it's
so Nick Fury's going around collecting mutants.
Maybe it's Charles Xavier instead, whoever they're going to have that, and he's like at the end of the movies somehow it's I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, no, I mean I'm excited.
It's going to be cool whatever they do.
I'm excited for whatever they decide to do. One other thing that I wanted to talk about, because Reggie, you mentioned Blade, and as soon as you said that, it made me think, like, if Deadpool is getting a rated R movie, does that mean we get a rated R Blade movie?
I hope so.
I really hope so.
Yeah.
Because that's not a character I want to see PG-13. Give me a rated R Blade movie.
Were the other Blade movies R?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Hard R. Yes. 100%. I'm all about it.
I didn't put it in the news, but you guys mentioned it. Kevin Feige also mentioned that the Netflix TV shows like The Defenders you're talking about, that bringing those back is not out of the realm of possibilities. So they could be bringing them back. We already know Charlie Cox is supposed to come back for Spider-Man, so the TV shows will probably end up on Disney Plus in the next year or so after they clear their time with Netflix. And
we kind of glossed over it. What do you guys think about this Chris Evans returning as Captain America news? If it's true. They say he's not going to be coming back for a Captain America movie. That he'd be coming back in a supporting role of another movie, potentially a second movie as well. What? For someone for a studio that plans things so far in advance, this seems out of character for them to make, go on record as like, this is his last one. He's not re-signing. We're concluding his story. It seems out of character for them, just not that far afterwards, to try to re-sign him and get him to come back to the character. No,
I agree. And honestly, I would like to see them. I don't know. Like, I guess it would depend on what they do with it. But personally, I kind of like the way his story ended, his and Tony, and I don't necessarily want them to see them undo that.
Yes.
That being said, it's comic books, and they love the retcon. So,
dude, I love.
Reggie,
go ahead, Dawson.
I was gonna say when I saw this news come out, I don't really know a ton about Captain America. I didn't read the comics, but somebody was in the comics was mentioning an event where he's returning like Infinity Stones. So like they could do. There's I guess some timeline in the comics where he's doing these different type of events, and I don't know. Where you get to see splices of that in the past. I don't know, returning the stones and getting to see that.
I mean, I could see that.
Or
whatever. That being said, would that be an interesting story? Probably, maybe. I guess. Yeah. I have no reason to believe that it wouldn't be, given their track record. But I just don't know if that's necessarily something that I want to see.
Okay.
Or need to see.
Maybe I need a refresher. Maybe I'm not remembering correctly. Isn't that what he did at the end of Endgame?
Yeah, but we don't see it.
Right, but we don't see it. So I guess if you had to see
that.
Yeah.
No. I'm saying like he goes from Captain America to old Captain America, just like that, in a minute and a half. Right? So like there's something, he does things along the way.
Yeah, I really like the way they ended it. I thought that it was very appropriate and it was a great moment. And I feel like they should not revisit that.
Well, we're getting a Black Widow movie in however many months.
Which is why I'm not interested in a Black Widow movie.
Right?
I know.
Yeah, her story's done. But...
Do you think she's going to die in this movie?
Here we go with the stakes. I don't want to see a Black Widow movie because I'm going to watch the Black Widow movie because it has Florence Pugh and David Harbour in it, and it's a Marvel movie. But of all the characters they could make a movie for, Black Widow does nothing for me.
I'm all... Here's the thing. Black Widow is a very interesting character, and if they did a legit spy movie with Black Widow, that would be amazing. The problem is I feel like they waited too long. They messed up by killing her. So like that kind of takes the interest out on that. And then also like, and this is just something I've noticed, but what is up with studios and not putting their female superheroes in the modern time? You know, like Captain Marvel was set in the 90s, Wonder Woman is in the 40s and 80s. The new
they're
Black
building
Widow
towards
set
it
before Infinity War. Like
they're building to it.
We can't get a female superhero like modern, like right now in regular continuity.
Well, we got it in Ghostbusters. You saw what happened there. Everyone just shit all over.
But I mean, Ghostbusters is different. I mean, you know, like I'm talking about like capes and tights.
No, I get you. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe everyone has a bad taste in their mouth from Catwoman. I don't know.
Or Elektra. Or...
been a lot of really bad superhero movies in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I hadn't thought about that. It's an interesting take. And we'll see what's the next female superhero to get their own movie? Is Captain Marvel getting a sequel?
Captain Marvel 2?
I mean, presumably that's in present day.
Yeah, I would assume.
So
unless they go and let's see what she was doing while everybody else was dealing with Thanos.
Oh shit. All right. I've got one more thing for movie news.
Hello.
It's back.
Hey.
Who is this?
Guess who's
Cinema
back?
Chat Podcast.
Back
What's
again.
your favorite scary movie?
Scream is back.
Definitely Scream. You
Tell
got some
a
news
friend.
for me?
Now that we're all here, the party can begin.
It's time for Scream News.
All right, it's Scream news time. And really, it's just an excuse for me. January 14th, 2021. That's the date that we are recording this podcast. Scream will be released on January 14th, 2022. So the 365-day countdown has begun, gentlemen. As long as it doesn't get delayed. It's 1 year away. Don't make that face, Dawson. Have faith.
Wait.
I'm not gonna annoy you every week with an update on how many days left before Scream. I'll wait until 6 months for that. I'm not gonna do that now. Everyone just relax. I'm not going to come in here next week and be like, there's 358 more days until Scream releases, guys.
You could make a Twitter account and like make a bot that just has a countdown.
See, I wouldn't make a bot. I would do it personally myself.
Oh.
The personal touch, you know. I did find an account that's just, is it Ted Danson's birthday? And every day it's just like, today is not Ted Danson's birthday. And then it finally popped up, today is Ted Danson's birthday. And I was like, man, what the payoff there is fantastic. Today is Ted Danson's birthday. All right, box office.
Box office.
Box office results for the week of January 8th through the 10th, 2021, which does not include Ted Danson's birthday. Number 1, Wonder Woman 1984. That is in its third week. It dropped another 45% down to $3 million for the weekend. $3 million. That movie has made $32.6 million domestic and $100 million international. So $132 million worldwide. Number 2 for the week, The Croods: A New Age at $1.8 million. Number 3, News of the World, $1.2 million. Number 4, Monster Hunter at $1.1 million. And number 5, Fatale, $656,000. So that is your box office and the amount of money that the top 5 made for the week of January 8th through the 10th, 2021. Now, does anyone have anything before we move on to our feature presentation?
Nope.
And now, our feature presentation.
Freaky from 2020. It's directed by Christopher Landon. It's also written by him and Michael Kennedy. It stars Vince Vaughn, Catherine Newton, Celeste O'Connor, Misha Osherovich, Emily Holder. I've already read off a bunch of people that you don't know. It also has, what's his name from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I can't think of his name. Played Cameron in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I'm padding while I search through the cast. Alan Ruck. Alan Ruck is in this as well. But there's a lot of kids that you don't know because this takes place in a high school. Serial killer is on a rampage, gets a crazy knife with some sort of spell put on it, stabs a teenage girl. And guess what? It's called Freaky because it's a play on Freaky Friday. And they switch places. And they have 24 hours to undo it before it becomes permanent. So not only do we have a body switch, we have a ticking time clock scenario in this movie. Now, I saw the trailer for this. And I was mildly interested because I like seeing, I've said it a million times. I like seeing people do things they don't normally do. I know Vince Vaughn did Psycho. I know that he's done some serious roles. But seeing him in another horror movie, this one had a little bit, seemed like a comedic twist on it. I kind of felt like it was shaping up to maybe be more of a comedy than anything else. But I was still fairly interested in it because, the body swap aspect. You got a little teenage girl going about doing these killings and whatnot. So I was interested in it. Did you guys have interest in this from the jump? Or did you have to be talked into watching it?
I didn't really even know what it was. And then there was a trailer that came out. I was like, all right, that looks kind of interesting. And then it got really, really good reviews. People were like, this is good. You got to check it out. So I saw it and I liked it. And I said, Brent, Reggie, you guys got to check this out. And we watched it. And here we are. So, no, I was blown away with how good it was. I did not expect it to be anywhere near, like, I was just, it also caught me off guard how brutal it was. To start off with that, we have some brutal kills that I haven't seen in a movie for a long time. So that was good.
Reggie, what was your initial interest level?
My initial interest was less than 0. Like, I saw it and was like, I saw that Vince Vaughn was in it, and I was like, I'm out. And then you were like, oh yeah, you would like this. I was like, I doubt that, but I was like, well, let me check it out. And then maybe about 10-15 minutes into it, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm in it.
It has a great opening scene. I mean, they don't waste any time getting into the thick of things. I don't know how long the opening scene is. It's probably like 10 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they don't waste too much time getting into the next scene. That's sort of like the next big action set piece. So it moves at a pretty brisk pace, especially at the beginning. And while there are a couple of lulls in there where they're setting up the story and whatnot, where you get some of the comedy more sprinkled in, I feel like this movie has a really good pace to it. You know, Rob's not here, so we have to talk about the pacing. I feel like this movie was paced out really well. I mean, you get kills not every 15 minutes, I don't think, but you get something every 15 minutes. It has a nice body count. It does. Like, they are kind of concentrated, but there is a nice count.
But I was shocked by how many people the serial killer is just like, I'm just killing everybody I come across, and I kind of like that. I kind of enjoyed it because it was like he just did not care. It was just like, let's just kill everybody, and that's an interesting twist where they're, you know, because usually they're trying to get away, you know, or you know, and to have a serial killer just does not care. It's like, I don't care if I get caught. It's not my body.
Dude, the first 3 kills, you know, like you said, you usually have them like try to get away for a minute. Well, the first 3 people that get killed have no chance whatsoever. Like, right. they get fucked up from Jump Street. Like, they don't have a chance. And they are, like Dawson said, like, there's some brutal stuff. Like, I don't know if we want to spoil stuff, but there are some very creative kills with wine bottles and tennis rackets. I like the tennis racket gag because it was like you know, the Halloween costume where you put it on your head. It's, you know, whatever. Yep. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know how much we want to say because I feel like a lot of people haven't seen this. And I want them, whenever they get the chance to see it, to be able to experience it kind of clean.
Yes. Definitely, it's definitely worth, and I'll say this, it had more heart than I thought it would. You know, like, yeah. I didn't expect to see some sort of, like, character, like, development and arc that was in there, especially, like, the camaraderie between the friends and then the mother and the daughter. I thought was really interesting and well done. Yeah, like I think some of those kills are really over the top in ways that but you get to a point where it's just fun to watch because they're funny, like creative funny, you know, in the same vein as of like Happy Death Day, dude. You know, because there are times I'm like, that you couldn't kill somebody, and I was like, I don't care. I'll accept this.
The director and writer of this did Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day 2.
Well, it shows. Okay.
Well, I just want to...
Hold on.
That's a fact.
Sorry.
Well, thank you, Brent. I'll have you know that Christopher Landon, the director and co-writer, has proposed a crossover movie called Freaky Death Day.
That's a fact.
Please. Please do it.
So yeah, just keep an eye out for that, because we may get that. Depending, the Happy Death Day movies are very successful. This seems like it was a critical success, so we'll see.
I mean, it's more of a comedy. Yeah, this and Happy Death Day are more of a comedy than, like, say, Scream. At least the first couple were. Like, I felt like the Scream and Scream 2 especially are more horror movies with comedy sprinkled in. This feels like it almost turns, they almost turn the comedy dial up to a higher degree.
Yeah.
But I feel like these are spiritual successors to Scream, like sort of what we would get modern day.
Well, so? I will
in a way, yeah.
It reminded me more of like the Evil Dead in that like comedy horror genre.
Well, Christopher Landon, he has cited that the movies that really inspired him for this movie were Scream, Scream 2, Urban Legend, Cherry Falls, Fright Night from 1985, The Blob, Jennifer's Body. Those are just a few of the movies that he really took to inspire.
Well, that explains why I love it so much. Like,
right.
He's taking inspiration from all of these movies that I love, either just wholly or ironically in some, like Jennifer's Body. I love that movie, but not because it's a good movie. Like,
right.
I there's a lot.
It's interesting to take inspiration from Jennifer's Body.
Yeah.
I think that was they may have gone, because the original title for this movie was actually called Killer Body. It could have been because of the whole like Jennifer's Body had Megan Fox. This has an attractive lead character. So like, I mean, that could have been the side of it where in Jennifer's Body she was the killer, right? Like,
you know what else I liked about this movie? In Jumanji, you see Jack Black having to, being a female, a woman in a man's body, and then having to figure it out. And we get that too in this movie, but then we get to see like the reverse. So like what a woman would be like, dude, what do I do? Like that's interesting. But I also like the fact that the killer has to deal with the fact that he is now a woman instead, and like not used to, I guess, the physical benefits that come along with being a man, like physically.
So
because he can't kick everyone's ass just because he's a 6-foot dude anymore.
So that reminds me a little bit of The Hot Chick, the Rob Schneider movie. Not until you said that, but I can see a lot of the way that Vince Vaughn plays this girl is similar to the way Rob Schneider played Rachel McAdams' character in The Hot Chick. Like, I could see some similarities in there. I thought that Vince Vaughn was great. Like, I don't know what it is about these guys playing teenage girls, but Jack Black and Vince Vaughn, I think that they were both like pretty damn good in their portrayal of teenage girl. And I have to imagine, like, you have to imagine he's having a blast on set doing that. Like, he's got to be having so much fun. He seems like the nicest guy ever. I mean, he produced Steve Byrne, our best friend, produced his movie. Like, he's got to be a fun guy, right?
Right.
He's also
good
super tall.
Friend of the show, Steve Byrne.
Yeah, good friend of the show, Steve Byrne. He's also super tall, which I always knew he was kind of tall, but this movie with him standing next to the kids really accentuated it. I didn't realize he's like 6'6". I thought I
didn't know he was that tall.
I thought he was Hollywood tall. I didn't realize he was like tall. Yeah, I thought he was tall standing next to Tom Cruise. I didn't know he was like legit tall.
Foot taller.
He's probably more than the foot taller than Tom Cruise. Maybe Tom Cruise and his lifts. Fuck Tom Cruise. Sorry, I had to get it in there. Sorry. I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm not sorry. I didn't put in the news this week because it came out just before the show, but there's a Tom Cruise story that wildly blew my brain when I read it, but I don't want to go into it right now.
Well, we also didn't talk about him having another blow up the week before that. But I feel like we've sort of drained that story for all it's worth.
Well, this story says he supposedly paid for 2 robots to patrol the set for COVID violations. But that's...
That is psycho. That's psycho. I was with you before, but if that's true, that's insane. That is insane.
I broke bread.
Oh my goodness, I have to look that up. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Oh my god. I'm crying. You guys gotta talk. I'm crying. Oh, he got 2 robots?
It says here from the story from page 6, Tom is so serious about making sure that the shoot isn't shut down. He splashed out these 2 robots as he can't be everywhere to ensure people are behaving themselves. It says, if you see, where'd it go? It says he's paid out 2 huge sums for high-tech robots to enforce coronavirus safety on the set of Mission Impossible 7 and also administer spot tests for the crew. Thomas,
spot tests?
So, like, we're checking you for COVID. Sorry. Yeah.
Do you have your COVID papers?
It's the robot from RoboCop.
People are like, go up the stairs. They're not good on stairs.
There's fucking Daleks rolling around. Oh.
Nasal or mouth, I'm getting a swab.
Oh. Does this one go in your butt or in your mouth? Oh, wait, I got those backwards here.
That's crazy. That's
oh my god,
much.
I
That's
can't.
Going too far.
Like, you could have given me 100 guesses at what that story was going to be. Like, if you're like, guess how Tom Cruise is going to make sure that the set is COVID, applying the COVID standards to their shoot. I never would have gotten to. He purchased 2 robots to patrol the set.
I want to know too, like how effective those robots are. You know, are they catching COVID on the set? Like,
hey, have they shut
is he
down
wasting
production?
his money? Did somebody just sell him like magic beans and he bought it? Like, that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had a chance to look into this. There's articles, a lot of people are retweeting it and things like that. I haven't seen. It could be fake. I don't know, but
look, if it's fake, I don't want to know. That is a story I want to be true. If you find out it's fake, don't fucking at me, okay? Like, just let me believe it, because that's gold. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh.
That boy's one mean motherfucker.
So Freaky was good.
Yeah, dude, you broke my brain. I don't even know what I'm talking about now. Yeah. What? Oh, we were talking about how tall Vince Vaughn was.
Yeah, taller than Tom Cruise.
Yeah, he's like 6'5", 6'6", something like that.
You think he had to get small robots so he doesn't look like they're intimidating? Like 2 big ass robots next to him, or
he's got like
little
Johnny 5 next to him. He's like 1.5 feet taller than him.
They're just 2 mini Toms.
Oh, well, they look like Tom Cruise. They're just shorter versions of him.
Hard to do. They're his mini me's. He's just.
Oh, all right. We have to move on from that story.
Yes,
we have to, because I can't take it. Oh, Reggie, talk about Freaky, please.
Yeah. So, go see it, you guys. Good movie. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
I hope my laughter was contagious for you as a listener, because my side is hurting. I have a little bit of a headache now. I had tears coming out of my eyes. I was wheezing slightly. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I never would have expected a body switch horror movie with Vince Vaughn in it to be so good. Like you were talking about the body count, Reggie. I'm trying to add through it in my head. I mean, what is there? 4, 8, 9. There's at least 10 that I can think of.
Yeah. I don't know if there's an actual count in here.
Because I know that there are a couple of sets of kills. So I think there might be 9 or 10 at least.
Yeah.
Which is pretty high for an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time you add in credits, that's an average kill every 10 minutes, which is pretty fucking good. Like I said, they're kind of concentrated into a couple of groups in a couple of scenarios. But the one kill there's 2 kills in the school, right?
I just looked it up. There's 10 kills
10.
according to...
Yeah. It's
yeah.
4, 3, 1, 1, and 1. Yeah. Yeah, I got it all.
Cool.
But there's one dude gets split in half. Just butterflied. I don't want to say too much. I'm just saying, if you like horror movies, and if you like to laugh, and if you like kind of ridiculously gruesome kills, this is the movie for you. Like, no shit whatsoever. Like, I know Reggie's the perfect example because he wanted nothing to do with it. And I watched it and I'm just like, dude, you have to watch this. You have to watch this. You will love it.
I was pleasantly surprised.
You will love it. And we watched it in a watch party, and the few people that were in there, because it was the second movie 2 weeks ago, the few people that stuck around for it, they all really liked it. Like, everyone that I know that has watched it has enjoyed it. I haven't heard a negative report back on it. So I would definitely recommend getting out there and watching Freaky. So check it out. You can rent it currently. Maybe it's available to purchase. I don't know. And, you can find, where there's a will, there's a way, right, guys? Like, you can figure it out. But yeah. So do we want to give some scores?
Yeah. I'll go first. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. I was shocked at how much I enjoyed it because, I saw Vince Vaughn was in it, and I was like, hard pass. But I'm glad I watched it, and I'm not surprised that the people that did Happy Death Day were involved in this because it was just that much fun. And I would give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I was right there with you. I'm going to go just slightly higher. Like, I'm putting this right up there with Happy Death Day, which was sort of like a breath of fresh air into the horror that we've gotten over the last few years. A different take on it, put a little spin on it. I always like when people try to do something a little different. This was another case of someone trying to do something kind of different. Same people, but pretty good. Like, it's right up there with Happy Death Day, Ready or Not. Like, I've really enjoyed some of the horror movies we've gotten recently where they've mixed in comedy. So I'm going to give it an 8.5, 8.5.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Brent. I think this movie's an 8.5. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. It's been a while since I've seen a horror movie that didn't have something that it just felt fresh. I mean, I'll say it at that. It's a good take. It's fun. I liked it. Check it out. You'll enjoy it.
All right. I had something I was going to read from my brother. Your all's Patty Jenkins discussion in Rogue Squadron. He had this to say. Hold on. y'all are sleeping on Patty Jenkins. Don't forget she wrote and directed Monster. She's allowed a ding every once in a while. Plus, her family has rich fighter pilot history. And she spent substantial time with Chuck Yeager trying to get a Chuck Yeager movie made. That's the perfect pedigree for a Star Wars movie about fighter pilots. Rogue Squadron is going to be just fine. Oh yeah, Wonder Woman 84, not great. So, they came to her with Rogue Squadron. Apparently, she's really into fighter jets and stuff. And this is like her dream project. So,
I'll say she had a chance with a jet in Wonder Woman who has a invisible jet, and she did a bang-up job with that. So,
it's not really the same thing.
It's not.
Not really.
We saw for one scene.
But it's not.
Around, then she starts flying with.
But it's not a fight. She's not fighting with the jet. It's okay. It's not a dogfight.
It was a fighter jet, and they just made it invisible.
But that's what.
I know they had their romance.
The character.
They flew through the fireworks. I get it. It was fireworks. It was lovey time. I get it.
So he's just saying maybe pump the brakes.
I mean, hey, I'll still watch it. I'll probably give it an 8 just because it's got Star Wars in front of it.
At least you know yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Adam Sandler is in Star Wars.
What if they put Adam Sandler in Star Wars?
Hey.
That should have been my pitch. Adam Sandler in Star Wars.
Oh, now that you've mentioned that, Reggie, we did an episode on Cutting Room Floor, which I know I've already said it once this episode, but it's on Patreon, patreon.com/cinemachatpodcast. We did an episode recently on there where we each created what we thought were the perfect pitches for the other people on the show. So it's me, Reggie, and Dawson. So we each had a pitch for the other person, and then the person we were pitching to had to pick which one they liked best. And guys, I don't know the last time I've had so much fun talking to you guys as I did doing that episode. So
I legit woke up the next morning disappointed that some of those movies weren't being made.
Like I would just say maybe hop on Patreon, even if it's just for a month, to get access to that episode, because I had so much fun making it. I want you guys to hear it, but I feel like it's the perfect thing to put to make you pay for it. It is a lot of fun. And maybe just hop on for a month and try it out. Maybe you'll stick around, maybe you won't, but there's some good stuff on there. That's going to do it for this week. Coming up next week, we have One Night in Miami. Here's what we have coming up over the next little bit. We got One Night in Miami. We have Locked Down, which is a movie that was made during COVID, starring Zendaya and so John David Washington.
That's Malcolm and Marie.
That's Malcolm.
Oh, that's Malcolm and Marie, which is 2 weeks later. Lockdown is the one with Chiwetel Ejiofor and Anne Hathaway.
Yes, the heist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Little Things. That's Denzel, Jared Leto, and there's one more person. Rami Malek. Yep. Judas and the Black Messiah. We have Bliss, which I just put on there. I don't remember what it is, but I saw it and I was like, oh, we could review that. Then we have an open week. Coming to America. Cherry, Tom Holland movie. The Many Saints of Newark. That's a Warner Brothers movie going on HBO Max. And Raya and the Last Dragon, which is a Disney Studios animation movie, which looks kind of amazing. So that's what we have coming up through the end of March. So we've got a pretty packed schedule, and we're filling in the rest of the year as we go. It's going to be a good year for Cinema Chat Podcast, I think. We're going to tick episode 300 here in just a few weeks. This is 295, so 5 more episodes.
Also, look at that. We're back. These are all new movies.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah.
We're back.
We're filling the schedule with 2021 movies. We're back.
That's right.
You know it.
We're back. We're back.
All right. We'll see you all next week.
See you.
See you next time. But you can follow us. I'm Brent, and I am...
X, not Malcolm.
And he's Rob, and he's...
Rob 1.
There's also Reggie, who is...
Hit on.
We can't forget about Dawson at...
Andy!
Underscore.
Dawson.
Don't forget to follow the podcast at CinemaChatPod on Twitter. And check out our website, cinemachatpodcast.podbean.com.
I'm following you now. I'm just going to follow you everywhere. I'm just going to follow you the rest of my life.
Thanks, Peter. Now, if the rest of you would get off your ass and follow us, that would be great.
Mail, motherfucker!
Oh, and don't forget to send your emails to cinemachatpod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Please, send us something. Have a good week, everyone. Goodbye. You remember whenever I was going to start ending every show with, that's a wrap?
Yeah.
Or get fucked? Or see you next time? Yeah. How long did that last?
I don't know, but that's a wrap.
Get fucked.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.